Hello and welcome back to the Bad Movie Reviews channel hosted by your favorite super film reviewer, Ben. Now, I'm reviewing a film I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and that is none other than, as you can probably tell from the title and the backing, Superman. Now, this film is the first entry into the DCU as we know it, or the modern one, I should say, um, somewhat of a reboot, and it is led by none other than James Gunn. So the film is written and directed by James Gunn, who is also the co-chair of DC Studios. So playing that Kevin Feige role, really, from the sounds and what we can grasp. And if you're not familiar with his work, I'm sure you are if you're watching this. He directed none other than the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, along with the DC's The Suicide Squad, the one in 2021 or 2020, when that came out, not the David Ayer version. And I've been looking forward to it for quite some time because I am a big fan of the Guardians trilogy. I really did enjoy DC's The Suicide Squad, but I've always loved the character of Superman, whether it be the original films, comics, even video games like Injustice. I've always just really loved the character of Superman and always been invested in that character as a whole. And it's a film, it's a series or it's a character that I've just always felt there's drastic potential that for me never lived up to that hype of superhero films that have come and gone. Now, I did enjoy Man of Steel. I obviously loved Superman 1 and 2. However, obviously, with my age, I wasn't someone who grew up with that, for say. But man, I'm happy to report I had genuinely so much fun with this film. I think James Gunn has done an impeccable job. I think this is a fantastic way to start the DCU, and it's made me invested in obviously the world we see, but these characters we know and beloved, but the iterations of these characters that we see on screen. And I think overall, to chat about the story, it's not an origin story that most original films in a series might be. It starts 3 years or so after he's announced as Superman. Basically, it says at the start of the film. There's no completely spoiler free review, but I think from a technical perspective, this film does look great. I know it had the Flash cinematographer. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Flash. Cinematography and the visual aesthetic and the style of the film does look great. It is bright and colorful, and I think it's the best way to describe it is if you were to splash a comic book on screen, it genuinely looks like that. And I mean that in full, like a full compliment, full complimentary comment. And I'm a big fan of that, and I think Superman is specifically is the one character where I would love to see that. Obviously, you've got darker DC characters, but Superman I always feel is that one that could really get away with it and not be corny or anything like that. But I think the score and the soundtrack, like the soundtrack, the score, the sound design, the way it intertwines with the editing, it's genuinely so well done for a superhero film and a Superman film of that. And I think that really shines for me is I really wanted weight and audio, and I've discussed it in reviews before that one big thing is weight and the sound. There's heaps of weight behind the sound, which I think is a huge plus. It was something I was very intrigued about. But overall, the best thing I can say about this film is not only the technical aspects. I think James Gunn does a fantastic job. I do think it is quite packed, the film. I think it just clocks in at a 2 hour plus runtime, just a little bit over 2 hours, and it is packed. It is something that you might need to watch a few times to really unpack a lot of the stuff going on. But for me, it wasn't too much. But I think for the average film goer, they might not be able to cope with almost something happening all the time. But I really enjoyed that. And I think it made it extremely entertaining, really well paced. I would like to have had a little bit more with like the Daily Planet crew because I really enjoyed their dynamic. But I had a great time with the whole film. Now, to chat about the cast, I think David's Corin Sweat is a phenomenal casting. I think it's extremely inspiring casting. His ability to switch between Clark and Superman and have them almost portray different characters, the physicality beside it is second to none. And I think his chemistry with Rachel Brosnahan, who plays Lois, is fantastic, and she was really good in the film. I think Lex Luthor, who's played by Nicholas Hoult, I've never hated a character more in the best complimentary way possible. He's just a villain who hates to hate, like who loves to hate. Sorry, and it really shows. And I think he's fantastic in this film. He's always been fantastic. I think he's a really underrated actor, and not only that, the side cast, whether it be like whether it be Jimmy from the Daily Planet, whether it be Mr. Terrific, the Justice Gang, as they call themselves in the film. All the supporting cast is really, really good, and I think the cast here is fantastic. But overall, I just had so much fun with it. I can't wait to see it a second time. It's really one of the better Superman films for me. It's up there with 1 and 2 in my opinion. I think this is a really great starting point, and I can't wait. It's just made me really excited about what's to come. I can't wait to see what's to come in the DCU universe that James Gunn is kind of helming. Whether he comes back, if it does really well, whether he comes back and does a sequel, or whether he hands it to someone else and gives it a different visual style. It's just made me really excited, not only for that, for a potential sequel, but to see these characters again, to see Rachel, to see Nicholas, to see David all back in these characters. It's just made me super, super, super on board with this. And I think the best thing for it, to be honest, is I think Marvel have had their reign for 15, 10 years, really, probably more than that. And I think the best thing about this is it's just healthy competition. I think when DC is up and running, it means Marvel is going to focus on making more quality, and they've obviously been a little bit dull. So I just don't see any negative to this. I just see both studios hopefully really pouring out quality after quality, which is super exciting for me as well. But if you have seen it, comment below, let me know what you think of the film. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. But if you do like the review, please give it a like and subscribe for more. We'll catch you next time.